Well, hello everyone. I am so excited to be here in the virtual book fair holiday edition with the amazing Leslie Wright. I'm so just honored to be able to be a part of this amazing opportunity, and I have enjoyed listening to the authors share about their books today. Hey there, Lauren. Good to see you. So, who am I? I am Anita Gibson. I am a coach, speaker, educational strategist, and the author of the book Starfinder. I actually have been in the field of education for over 25 years from a very unique perspective. Our family was a homeschool family, and we homeschooled for over 25 years, and I learned a lot about myself actually through that process. But the other thing I am a part of right now, hey there, Natalie, hey, Tamika, is I'm also an administrator for educational programs. And so I actually love helping young people and families help their children just grow. So I've got a lot of experience in that area. And that is a part of the reason I wrote the book Starfinder. Uh, and I wrote it because people just kept pushing me, you're about getting the advice, the nuggets, the ideas, the strategies. Because the book is about helping parents who may be frustrated because they have students who are struggling academically, giving them strategies, ideas, encouragement to be able to help their child win academically. And so I had a lot of people asking me, can you write it down? If we can't get to you, we want to be able to get the information that you have gotten over all these years. And so I began to realize that there was a need. And so I began to write the story down. And so the interesting thing is the root kind of the book, the story is about our middle child. And she is a lovely young woman, now grown, whose name is Danielle. When Danielle was younger, she struggled academically. We had her tested. We thought maybe there's something going on, but there were no learning disabilities. There was nothing wrong with Danielle. Danielle just learned differently. And so we had to take a look at how do we educate this young girl in a way that matches with who she is. And as we began to ask that question, we were able to look and discover just special kinds of things that were able to help Danielle see the beauty of who she was. You see, I realized that as a parent, I was a snob. In my mind, I thought that all children were the same and that they learned all the same. And because her oldest daughter, hey there, Johnny, because our oldest daughter was strong in her academics, hey, Rodney, good to see you. Because our oldest daughter was strong in her academics, I just assumed that all children were. And so when her sister came behind her and she was struggling with her academics, I was like, well, what's the problem? And God began to show me the problem is you are comparing something that I never intended to be compared, because each child is a unique and beautiful star, hence the name Starfinder. And so as I began to realize that I was the one with the wrong perspective, before I could even help her as a parent, I had to reanalyze my own thinking. I had to acknowledge that there's some stuff I need to fix. And so as I was able to do that, I was able to re-look at Danielle in a different light. She struggled with doing things at a slower pace than the average child. Everything she did at a slower pace because I learned she was detail oriented and she had the need to very methodically go through a process when she was dealing with anything. And so what what God gave to me was an analogy that I was able to share with her to show her that I understood the beauty of slow. Yes, slow. In our society, we go so fast with everything that we do not honor slow. And so the analogy that, even when you say the word, it sounds like there's something wrong, doesn't it? The analogy that God gave us was, if you had cancer and they couldn't figure out where it was in your body, and you had the choice of two doctors, one who was very fast and he could look, oh yeah, and he would walk away and tell you everything's good, we see no cancer, you're fine. That's one doctor you could have. Or you could have a doctor who maybe wouldn't get back to you for 2 or 3 weeks, but would look in each quadrant of your x-rays to be sure that you were in fact cancer-free, and would be the one that would say, you know what, I think I see something over there in quadrant number 2. Let's take a closer look. I asked her, if you had to choose between the two doctors, would you want the one who went fast and got you in and out? Or the one who went slower? It took you longer to get the results back, but he gave you an accurate result. She thought about that. She's like, I think I would want the one that gave me the accurate result. I said, exactly. And that is the beauty of slow. God needs some people in our world who will take the time to analyze, to be methodical, as they're going through their processes. And for those of us who are fast, for those of us who are rabbits, we don't honor that because we don't understand how important that person who is methodical is. And so as we were able to begin to show the beauty to her of how God created her, she began to say, oh, okay, I don't have to be like my older sister. I can be myself. Hey there, Dolores. So glad to have you. So we were able to find some special things for Danielle that only Danielle could do. Okay, academics was not exactly a strength for her yet. So we were like, what can she do? Where can she shine? And we were able to find things that she loved. She loved animals. And she was the animal doctor in the neighborhood. And people would knock on our door, and if they found a bird or a frog or a turtle, and they would say, okay, Danielle, what do we do with this? And that they would, she would give them advice. She would start asking me, can we go to the library? I need to get a book about. Her reading started to improve as we were able to find a strength, a love, a passion that was interesting enough for her to want to learn more about it. And her reading, her academics began to improve. And that's why I wrote the book, because I remember what it was like to be a frustrated mom who loved her child with all her heart, but could not figure out how to help her. I remember what it was like to sit with her and she would be weeping because we're trying to read through something and she's stumbling over the words, feeling like a failure. That's my target audience. Those moms who need to know you're not doing anything wrong. Your child learns differently. They just need someone who has the ability to see them for who they are and find the star in them. So when I wrote the book, I knew that it was going to be something that would be a blessing for families, for children, for parents, to be able to move to the places that they could become their very, very best. I had to accept the fact that my child's success had much more to do with me than it did with the school system or it did with a teacher. That what I believed about my child was the most important thing. I had to become a champion on their behalf. That's what my book is about. It's helping parents to understand that when God gives a child to you, He gives you every tool you need to be successful at raising that child. No, you might not know where all the tools are. You might not even understand how to use them, but you have them. And I want to encourage parents to know that you do not have to walk with your head down. You don't have to act like you don't know what's going on, because God is going to give you what you need to be the very best parent that you can be. And I need you as a parent to understand that you have got to grow in walking in your authority. You already have what you need for your child to become what they need to become, what God has intended for them to become. He's just waiting for you to realize that you actually have the power. See, you are an advocate for your child. I don't care what the teacher or the principal or the school system says about them. They need to be put on Ritalin. They need to be in the special needs class. You are the expert on your